Hi, this is Lara Dutta, shooting at the Al Maya Resort for GlobalSpa magazine in Abu Dhabi.
It's a pleasure to have you with us, Lara.
Thank you.
We are shooting for the GlobalSpa magazine.
Yes.
A question to you, how is Miss Universe Lara Dutta feeling after 24 years of being crowned?
Well, it's been an incredible ride. It's been over 2 decades, and I don't think you can take that feeling of what I felt like when I was crowned. I don't think anyone will ever be able to take that away from me in my lifetime. But of course, life moves on, and you realize you're older, wiser, grayer. But life is good.
Great. You are an actor, a mother, an entrepreneur, a wife. How do you create the balance which is required to play these roles as stunningly as you do?
I think for me, I've never really boxed myself into any one role, and I've always been excited about what comes next. So even for me, after I won Miss Universe, entering Bollywood as an Indian film actress, moving on to wanting to become a producer, finding in my 30s that I was ready to take on more. My daughter was a little bit older, wanting to turn entrepreneur. I think these are things I need to constantly keep challenging myself. I need to keep reinventing myself. Mm-hmm. And I think for any woman, that's really, really important. It's an important transition that you need to keep alive in your life. So I don't fear getting older. I actually embrace it quite wholeheartedly. And I feel that with every decade, there's a part of me that kind of opens up that I never knew existed within me before. And I'm excited to explore that. But of course, I think, you need to surround yourself with the right kind of support system. So the choices that you make when you're younger in life, keeping your family grounded along with you. Your family grounds you, and it's also equally important to make them also feel that you haven't changed as a person regardless of whatever has gone on in your life with you. Finding the right life partner, finding somebody who's aligned with, just your beliefs, your system with which you've kind of been raised, just all the things that you stand for, finding the right life partner, raising your kid to understand that they're their own person. Their parents might be somebody who have achieved things in life, but they're starting off from scratch. So they've got a long way to go themselves. Just being able to do that, I think, keeps me very grounded, and therefore gives me the opportunity to balance work, life out. I don't get it right all the time, but I try hard.
And you've said it with so much of confidence, so much of grace, and that's, I think, you've always been known for. You've always been admired for your grace and confidence. What do you think has been the key to success, or the key to get that inner strength from within?
I think it's being fearless to accept who you are, with everything, with your positives, and more importantly, with the bits of you that are not so great. I think it's important to not be afraid to really delve into who you really are, and be comfortable and confident with what you find. And I think for me that's come maybe possibly from having older siblings, and things being put into perspective for me quite early in life. So I don't fear who I am, and I know exactly what my weaknesses are. I know what my faults are. And I cut myself a little bit of slack, with it. I allow myself space to breathe, space to make mistakes, space to fail. And it's very important to do that, because especially as women, we're given such few opportunities that we're so frightened to fail when we're given the chance. And invariably, we end up being so hard on ourselves because of that. So I think that bit of that grace, that elegance just comes from being comfortable in your own skin, knowing your truth. And I don't expect everyone to love me all the time. I don't.
That's a very, a very, unique thing that people say. Everybody wants to be loved by everybody. But expecting that you don't really expect the same thing.
No, I don't. And I know that it's impossible to do it. I know that I have my bad days. I know that I have a massive fan following. There may be days where, people may not know what's going on in your life, but it may be a really terrible day for you. And I don't feel like taking a picture at an airport, or I don't feel like having a conversation with someone. And I know for the person who doesn't know me, it may come across as, Lara is, oh, she's so snooty, oh, she's so rude, oh, she doesn't care about her fans. But I allow myself to be human in that way. And I know that I cannot, as much as I love to be able to cater to everybody, I know I can't do that 24/7. That's not who I am.
So what does success mean to you now? I mean, the definition of success has changed over the years. What does it mean to you?
I think honestly, success to me is the luxury to be able to work when I want to, not because I need to. Uh, the ability to be able to take time off, to be with my daughter, to be with my husband and my family when I need to. To reach a level or a stage in life where I'm happy to walk away from something if I feel that it doesn't add value to my life anymore. And that truly today is for me success. You know, it isn't about my bank balance. It isn't about how much, what home I live in, and the cars that I drive, and in the countries that I kind of move around in, or the people that I sit and get up with. I think the true luxury of feeling successful in life comes from the fact that you can do things today on your own terms, at your own pace.
What kind of films would you like to produce today? And would you like to produce and act, or just produce?
Well, I did produce and act in my first film when I did Chalo Dilli, and I know, my God, it's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to be an actor who's performing on set and also being the one who's taking care of all the troubleshooting that's happening. So I would love to be able to produce without having to act in a film, to be really honest. I've always wanted to produce films that originate, stories that originate out of India. I genuinely believe that we have a wealth of incredible, real stories to tell, and stories that have a universal voice. And so my endeavor has always been to pick films that are high on content, not necessarily massive budget films, but also to nurture talent when it comes to new writers, new directors, new actors, to be able to kind of find these gems that really exist and tell these stories.
Fantastic. Looking back, would you think that you would have done something different professionally or personally? Any choice that you would have maybe thought different?
I was when I came into the film industry, I had absolutely no one here to kind of guide me or show me the ropes or teach me the way to kind of navigate. I learned that the hard way, on my own steam, through obviously the friendships that I made within the industry. And looking back, could I have been more successful? Should I have made more strategic alliances? Yes, possibly. But then I don't think that I would have the peace of mind that I actually do have today. So if I had to really look back and say, do I wish that I had done it differently? I don't think so. I think I'm in I personally think that I am in a great space and place, just exactly where I want to be in life.
Fantastic. Very, very authentic word. You're always so authentic. How do you embrace aging gracefully?
Yeah, so look, there's no running away from it, right? I mean, if there's anything that we know that we're constantly moving forwards. And therefore, aging is something that you just can't escape from. So I can drive myself crazy, trying to figure out how I'm going to stop the clock or beat the clock. I think for me, the most important thing, and which is the way that I've always lived my life, is I want to remain healthy as long as I possibly can. Healthy and strong. So for me today, I'm a woman in her 40s, and I have always maintained that I've never ever in my life wanted to be a thin or a skinny girl. Though I come from the modeling business, I've always constantly maintained that I want to have a strong body. And today I am in my own skin. I am stronger than most women that I know my age. I'm able to do things that a lot of women my age cannot do. And I genuinely believe today, when I'm in my 40s, that those choices that you make in your 20s and 30s, if you're going to constantly keep doing these crazy diets, you're constantly going to be on calorie deficits, you're constantly trying to remain skinny and thin, you're doing irreparable damage to yourself. Because when you get to your 40s and you enter another phase of life, your body literally loses so much of muscle mass, so much of calcium that's literally just seeped out of your bones, that your 50s and 60s are then going to be riddled with health issues. So I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I want to remain as active, as healthy as I can for her, And I think that's my mantra in life. My mantra in life is enjoy your life, everything in moderation. I've never followed crazy crash diets. Sure, I have my days where I feel like, yes, I want to be, 5 kilos thinner or 8 kilos lighter or whatever. But I think those kind of ups and downs come, and on most days, I'm very happy with the way that I am.
The mantra for life actually sounded like your wellness mantra. Tell me, what's your wellness routine or what's your day-to-day routine like?
So I'm married to an athlete and he's extremely disciplined. So I always say that Mahesh always makes me look really bad. Because he never misses a workout, and he's so regimented, and he's always been ever since he was a teenager with his food and what he eats, and it's really clean eating, and I find it exhausting to be like that all the time, and for him it's very natural because that's just part and parcel of who he is. But I think for me, my wellness mantra, more than anything else, is to surround myself with people that make me happy. When I'm with the right people around me, I eat better, I work out, I get my workouts in, I take the time off. That's very much required, to take that break in between crazy hectic schedules. So the first thing is, everyone says you are what you eat. I genuinely believe you are with what you surround yourself with.
Is it Mahesh who introduced you to wellness, or was it?
No, I've always been. I mean, I've been a yoga practitioner since my teens. I chose to be vegetarian for many, many years of my life now, almost I think 16 years of my life. And I just feel, and I'm not. I don't force it on anybody else. I'm not somebody who's like, oh, you've got to turn vegetarian. For me, it suits me. It suits my body. It's what works for me. But I think I love working out. I make sure that I try and get as many of my workouts in without kind of skipping them. And and I've always been a huge believer in meditation and breath work. So these are the things that work for me.
Great. So you know what exactly you're doing and how you're doing it. Looking back, is there any advice that you would want to give to your younger self?
Yeah, I would tell my younger self, everything is going to be absolutely fine. Don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, I was the youngest of 3 girls, and I come from a family of very high achievers. For me, I was always, I wouldn't say worried, but I was always kind of like hell-bent that I've got to make my place, I've got to be that little scrawny kid that squeezes past everybody and says, I did it too. So I think I would tell myself, you're going to do it and it's going to be great. So just, don't enjoy the process rather than stressing about it.
Fantastic. We've spoken about present, we've spoken about the past. In the future, what is it that you think is the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm super excited to see. I'm soon going to have, in another few months, I'm going to have a teenager in my hands, and I'm really looking forward to that phase of life. It's going to be daunting as hell, but I think my entire journey through motherhood, I always say that my daughter has taught me far more than I've taught her. And I'm excited to see the mother that I evolve into, in this next coming decade. She's an incredible young woman, and it's her time.
Right.
It's her time now, and I want to be able to raise. I take no credit for it because she's already pretty amazing on her own, but I want to raise or help raise an incredible human being who I think is somebody who has a lot of love to give to the world, and she genuinely believes that the world loves her back. And I think in today's slightly distorted world that we live in, where everything is weighed in what people can, kind of receive more than give, I think I have somebody very special on my hands, and I can't wait to see the wonderful lady that she grows up to be.
Fantastic. What do you hope your legacy will be?
My legacy, I think, I don't think any of my achievements finally will really matter that much. The fact that I won Miss Universe, or I was an actress, or I won whatever awards, or I created X amount of brands. Finally, I think at the end of my life, I don't think those things will matter, because there are plenty of people who will go on to do even greater things than that. But I genuinely believe that if I have touched lives along the way for the people that I have encountered, and if they remember me in a way that I would feel blessed to be remembered as somebody who's been gentle and just kind and worth occupying space and taking up time on this planet, I think that's pretty much the maximum that I can really expect to wish for.
Very grounded thought. What's next for Lara?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, of course, I still continue to act. I've got some incredible projects on hand. Just finished being part of the Ramayana, something that I've always wanted to, if it was ever being made in India as a big screen experience. Always wanted to be part of it. So very fortunate that I'm part of that now. There are also other films. There's a wonderful web series that's going to be coming out later next year. I still continue to produce. I'm growing my brand Arise quite rapidly, in fact. So we've already got Arise skincare and fragrances and Arise home and Arise kidswear. That's going to grow exponentially over the next couple of years. I know that at some point in time I'd love to direct. I need to find the right time for it. Don't want to bite off more than I can chew. But yeah, I'm excited. Every single day I think, there's a thought that kind of pops into my head and I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's see if we can do this.
Fantastic. How was your experience at this beautiful island, Almaya in Abu Dhabi?
So, well, the UAE is a really interesting country that I've actually come to know and love quite a bit over the last 2.5 years, because I've spent quite a bit of time here. This is almost a dual home residence, for me. And a lot of people don't know, because people consider, the UAE to be Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and Dubai is, all bling bling. But Abu Dhabi is a wonderful, wonderful city, and I actually love the topography here in the UAE. It's very stark. I love the desert. And there's so much beauty in stillness and starkness. So Almaya has been incredible, this gorgeous island, beautiful blue waters, and it's a hop, skip and jump away from the mainland. Right. So I think for most residents, people who are visiting, it's an incredible opportunity to come and enjoy some fabulous UAE hospitality, Emirati hospitality, and I've had an absolute blast.
3 things that you love about GlobalSpa.
3 things. Well, I think every time I look at the photo spreads, I always feel like, wow, that's where I want to be.
You are going to be now.
Exactly. I also feel like GlobalSpa has always kind of covered and featured these really incredible properties across the globe, and it's great travel ideas, for most people who who are very into sort of wellness and holistic kind of living. And I think they've done a really great job of balancing that out, that it's not just these incredible resorts, but it's also very well rooted into the entire concept of well living. And the third thing is, of course, that it's going to have me on the cover pretty soon.